Hello, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. Sorry for my lateness. I told you all I'd be back today. But I had some absolutely urgent things to do this morning, and I didn't even have a chance to post that I would be late today, or that anything was going to change. I just literally woke up and started running and taking care of some things that were very, very necessary, but they're done. I'm here. I just wanted to jump on and do hopefully an hour or a few minutes and just cover some things, talk about some things. Let y'all know I'm here still. We are on Rockfin. We are on YouTube. We are on Rumble. Again, I want to thank everyone for the support. People have really been coming through and stepping up, which is part of the video today. It is somewhat amazing how much support people are getting. The victims of the fire are getting. And, one reason for that, I'm kind of comparing it to the people in North Carolina. Seems to be a stark contrast. Definitely in North Carolina, there were people, from all over the country trying to come in, and help out and send in aid. And, people really were stepping up and trying to help people. But I feel like that community was kind of a little more secluded, right? They weren't, they were in a rural area, a wilderness area. It was hard to get in there, hard to get in and out. And, I think, this happening in Los Angeles, in, the second largest city in the country, you just have way more, there's just so much more, so many more people and so much more support around, and the ability for people to get in and kind of just come together like very quickly and support people. I mean, I have to say, it's pretty freaking amazing how overwhelming like the response has been. Just in Pasadena alone, we went to Pasadena. We tried to go look at my house, or what was not there of my house, on Saturday, and they wouldn't let us in. But all over the city, there were so many like donation drives going on. We passed probably 6 just in the city of Pasadena alone for victims of the fire, and there was a large one near the convention, next to the convention center, at the convention center in Pasadena, where they were just, there were just a bunch of booths and food and all kinds of stuff, and they were just giving everybody whatever they needed. It was pretty phenomenal amount of support, and it really actually goes against the idea that people in LA are very selfish or self-centered and don't care. You know, I mean, I think on a daily or everyday operating uh, basis, yes, people are very very self-centered here for sure. Uh, that is actually true, but when tragedy strikes or when things fall apart, people seem to be shaken out of their, uh, blinders. Operating with blinders on, or I don't know how to put it. Um, they're just shaken out of their selfishness, and so there's really an incredible amount of support going on. There's so excuse me. Um, there's a bunch of donation centers. Most of them were full of donation. They weren't taking any more donations because there were so many donations. They weren't even taking any more volunteers because there were so many people volunteering. Like, that's the level of support. There was so much going on and so many people out trying to help that they were like, we got it. So on a ground level, on a community level, on a human level, like, wow, I'm amazed at the amount of support that's being shown, and I'm amazed at the amount of support that was shown towards me. And again, I'm just going to thank you guys for, I want to thank people for donating and messaging me and trying to ask me, how they could help, and it has been really, quite amazing. Excuse me. I'm suddenly unable to talk. But really quick, there's a few people I guess I can thank. I don't know, there's been people kind of donating. There's been a few people that have donated through the show, and I can't, find all of you, but Carrie Nanstead, thank you for donating on Rockfin. Over the weekend, Glenn McCarty, thank you for the super chat over the weekend. So many people have donated. I can't even keep up with it. So I mean, that's the amount of support. Dan bought me some coffees. Thank you, Dan. I think there was Darks bought me some. Let me see if I can go down here and just thank a couple people. I'm assuming you can hear me. William Dillon, thank you for the coffees. Someone else who was anonymous bought me a bunch of coffees. Thank you. Let's see. I think there's some more coffees down here. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I just want to thank everybody who's donated or tried to. And I'm sure that I've missed a bunch of people. So thank you guys. And Extra Bola, thank you for pushing out the links on Twitter. I actually forgot to link my GoFundMe on the last show. I think I did. So anyways, here's the GoFundMe. So many people have already donated to the GoFundMe, and if any of you have donated to the GoFundMe, thank you. I'm gonna try if there's a chance to go through and just thank everybody individually, which I have been trying to do. Anyway, so that's the GoFundMe link if you guys are interested in donating to my family's recovery. So there you go. All right. So, and I will thank people again at the end of the show. So I just wanted to kind of get in here uh, and kind of catch up on some things, talk about some things. I'm everything is kind of everywhere right now in my life and kind of in the news, right? Um, and this obviously this fire seems to be taking up like obviously most of the bandwidth of what people are concentrating on. So thank you, Extra Bola. I appreciate you. It seems to be taking up a big portion. There's other things happening too around the world, and we'll try and just kind of we'll try and cover everything. Exactly. Creative experiments. Climate change will affect us all eventually. I mean, you know, and I'll talk about it just because they're interesting things to look at and they're interesting theories, and maybe you know, they might very well hold some water. Um, but I think the basic this seems to be in line, right? If you have been paying attention to the extreme weather events around the globe, not just in the U.S., Europe, China, Africa, South America, everywhere around the planet has been touched, been affected by, been wrecked by extreme weather events, right? We can talk about Italy last year. We can talk about Spain. We can talk about France and Germany, in the last year. We can talk, just so many places. China, Japan, multiple instances of the cyclones that have hit the Far East over the last year. On the U.S., right in the U.S. specifically over the last year, there's been the hurricanes that have hit, specifically Hurricane Helene, but other events as well, right? Just so many that you can't even name them all. Tornadoes, right? There's more destructive tornadoes in the world. There's more destructive tornadoes touching ground. The one that just happened in Texas, right? There was a tornado that went for miles and miles and miles, and it was I forget what the category was. It was like the biggest category tornado, and it just wrecked all kinds of stuff in Texas, right? Mm. Um, so, and there is a lot of discussion and there's a lot of conversation around the water and what has been, the water management, what has been done with it, what they're doing with it. Uh, there's different takes on it. We're going to look a little bit at that. Right, creative experiments. So uh, they were saying that the reservoirs were full in California, right, because of all the rain, um, which is true in one sense, but there has been no rain since May. So there's we're in the season where we're supposed to be getting rain, and it's supposed to be much colder, and everything's kind of dried out, and that's climate change. You have extreme, you have extreme drought, you have extreme rain, you have things kind of pinballing back and forth very quickly. Um, anyways, let's look at a couple of things while we can. I don't want I've already taken up a lot of time just talking, but that's what we're here to do. Rock, just checking in on Rockfin. What's up, Rockfinders? How you doing? Gene, how you doing? Oh, you didn't know what had happened. Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I know, I have not been able to do, my regular broadcast has not really been happening, and we'll see. I'll try and keep it going, um, a regular schedule going with Black Bear News. But that being said, everything is everywhere. Everything's all over the place. My life is all over the place. So that I'm going to do my best, but just understand that there will probably be some intermittence in my broadcasts, and probably strange timing of my broadcasts here and there, as I try to kind of negotiate what the heck I'm doing in life. So, forgot to play this the other day. This is Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson lost his house. Yes, right. Extra bowl. I covered that on Friday that reservoir was empty. I actually have it right here. I'll put that up. I'll put that up right after this, and we'll look at that story for a second. This is Mel Gibson talking about losing his house, but he quotes George Carlin in this. Hold on. I'm working on a different setup here, so let's listen to Mel talk about this.
And Mel joins me by phone right now. Mel, I am so sorry to be talking to you under these circumstances. I'm looking at video of the ruins of what was once your home. I got to ask you how you're doing.
I'm doing good. You know, it's just a thing. But, you know, it is obviously, it's kind of devastating. It's emotional. You know, you lived there for a long time and you had all your stuff. You remember George Carlin talking about your stuff? Yeah. I had my stuff there, and it's all like, I've been relieved from the burden of my stuff because it's all in cinders.
Yeah. Where were you, Mel, when the fire broke out?
Gosh, I was in Austin. I was doing the Rogan podcast, you know, and I was kind of ill at ease while we were talking because I knew my neighborhood was on fire. So I thought, I wonder if my place is still there. But when I got home, sure enough, it wasn't there. I went home and I said to myself, well, at least I haven't got any of those pesky plumbing problems anymore.
When did you drive up? Did you take this video that we're looking at?
Yeah, I was taking some of it. Rose took some, and the chickens survived. It was amazing.
That is.
The chickens poop, and they were fine. So we gave them some grain and some water, and they're happy and laying eggs and stuff. So there you go. They weren't roast chickens.
And where was Rose during all of this? Was she with you in Austin, or?
No. We evacuated. See, I left on a plane, and the winds were picking up, and I went to Austin, and of course. While I was gone, whenever I leave town, a fire breaks out. It was the same last month. I mean, it was the same thing. The flames were like 200 yards away from my house. But this time they came from the other direction and really nailed me. And I have never seen a place so perfectly burnt. It is like, it's kind of, you could put it in an urn, you know?
Yeah, there is nothing there. What about the rest of the neighborhood?
I'll end it there. And that's what a lot of houses look like. Nothing is left. So like nothing is left. Everything is broiled, charred to ashes. So let's look at, sorry, my, geez. There was something I wanted to play for y'all. That I think was pretty appropriate. However, it's somewhere. I've got like a million emails and messages, text messages, and from everyone, and it's awesome. Thank you, Zalipa. Thank you. So somewhere in here. Oh, here we go. I want to play this for you because this is pretty good.
Consistent themes.
Hold on. Let me get it up on the screen, or try to get it up on the screen. Let's see. Thanks for joining in, y'all. I appreciate it. These broadcasts will be haphazard for the time being, but we'll figure it out. I'm just gonna wait for this to come up on the screen. But this is Davidson Boswell talking about the kind of what we're seeing, I guess, is just tragedy after tragedy, emergency after emergency, and people are kind of reeling from it, and it's really hard to. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, sure. It's going to get harder and harder for people to be able to stay on top or even stay focused on these tragedies as they unfold, week after week. Events and news and these huge kind of world shaking events, maybe not the whole world, but in your world it might shake your world. These world shaking events are happening, like, as everybody can see, more often. And part of that is the breakdown of civilization, and part of that is due to climate change, and part of that is due to other factors. But let's watch this. Pretty decent take. Anyways, let's watch this. Let's see if we can get from the beginning here. Can we get from the beginning?
Gaza starts, climate emergencies on top of climate emergencies. People don't even remember the fire in Hawaii that took out a whole town, and now all of LA is burning to the ground, essentially. And we won't have time to grieve that either, because the next emergency is going to happen soon. It's too much for people to deal with, and it hurts to know that the world is dying.
Anyways, that wasn't the whole video, but you guys got most of it. So a friend of mine, let's see if I can find this. A friend of mine posted something pretty spot on, and I don't know if I can find it here. It might take too long for me to find it, probably. Basically saying, like, put a moratorium in the same way that people were saying, let's have a moratorium on property buying in Maui after the Lahaina fires, because they were worried about private equity vultures coming in and gobbling up everything. So a friend of mine kind of posted something to the same effect. But that's a very legitimate concern. Let's watch something from James Lee. This was prior to the fires. He said, I posted this on New Year's, not knowing the tragedy that would unfold not a few days later. In it, I warned of a special kind of person, one who promises to save you, but is really a speculator in disguise. Never did I imagine it would manifest so soon. Let's watch this from James Lee. Hold on. Here we go. I want to play it.
So a few months ago, I was walking around in this tiny town in Spain, and I saw something that just made me stop in my tracks. And it was this sign right here, Los Speculators ya están aquí, which means the speculators are already here. It was a warning, and it just hit me. It was like, no one is safe, nowhere is safe. Like I said, I was in this tiny Spanish town, and here people are talking about speculators. And it made me kind of realize speculators are everywhere. For example, there are literal speculators, people, billionaires, who are buying up hundreds of acres of land and displacing the people who once lived there and then doing whatever they want to it. Others might take the land by force. But there are also other kinds of speculators, corporations who maybe want to invade your body, not necessarily for your own gain, but based on their own financial motivations and calculations. Other speculators are working on ways to invade your mind. And if you think about it for a second, the mind is maybe the most valuable real estate known to humankind. Perhaps why TVs are so cheap. I know this all might sound a little depressing, but there is something that we can do. I want to share with you a passage from this book written by my friend J.R. Mortimer. There's a section about the power of self-determination. He talks about you taking control of your own destiny through cooperation and mutual support rather than relying on external systems to solve your problems. My point is, nobody is coming to save us because, in all likelihood, the person that we think is coming to save us is probably also a speculator. So, a brighter future comes not from the people who are promising to save us, but it comes from ourselves, from within, the actions that we choose to take, and the strength in the communities that we choose to build.
Yep. And that is right on. And that's actually kind of what is evident right now in all the support that LA is showing for the victims. And, LA is a very, there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of wealth here. There's a lot of, resources here. There is there's an abundance of kind of everything here. So, it's kind of an overwhelming, amazing thing to watch, but excuse me. And let me see. Well, I don't know if we covered this on Friday. Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when firestorm exploded. I think we did talk about this. It was closed for repair, but this they were saying that had this been full, it might have been a different outcome. At least that's what they're speculating. So people have questions why this was offline, but if it was down for repairs, I don't know. Is there any good time to have something down for repairs? Sounds like a Murphy's Law kind of thing, right? Like, of course, the fire would break out when a reservoir was down for repairs. I don't know. There are indications that Southern California Edison might be at fault for not shutting off the power in regards to the Eaton fire. Let's see. And there's already, I think, lawsuits afoot. And we've seen this story before, right? With the Paradise Fire, I think PG&E was found liable in that. Excuse me, God dang it. But there was also speculation in the Maui fires about the power company being negligent or not actually doing the appropriate thing at the time that the fire broke out. Which, I mean, you can spin, you can kind of spin everything into a conspiracy. Some might want to, and it's kind of fun to do that sometimes. If you're of the mind that they're trying to bring in the private equity people and make land grabs and get people out of their homes, if you're of that mind, and you have the local power company always being at fault or to blame, right? Could it be that they're willing participants in this conspiracy? I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. But there is, pretty hard speculation that Edison didn't shut off the power in time, or maybe didn't act accordingly when the fire started. or before the fire started. So, again, the other day I was speaking about the fact that the logical, the likely explanation for the fire is high winds cause a transformer to go or power lines to go down that cause sparks, and right. So, if you have high winds that are most likely going to take out power lines and or transformers, if you're a power company, your you know your logical course of action would be to shut down the power so that you wouldn't have these issues arising. Um, Again, though, yes, PG&E was found guilty many times for burning towns to the ground. And wouldn't that be kind of a convenient scapegoat, right? If we're going down the conspiracy road and you're thinking that maybe this is a land grab, maybe they want people out of their houses for a reason, or they're trying to clear a particular area for a reason, and all you have to do is blame it on the local utility company, and they're, oh yeah, it was our fault, blah blah blah, we'll pay you some fines or whatever. Well, then no harm, no foul, right? In a way, it's kind of like the perfect patsy. You can blame it on them. Oh, we messed up. Oh, darn. But nobody really goes to jail. Nobody gets in trouble. But they're saying, there's a bunch of articles saying, no, there's no evidence that Edison was at fault. But yeah. Two lawsuits filed against California Edison. Let's look at this. This is from today. You want to listen to the sound?
In LA County against Southern California. And we have breaking news. We have just learned 2 lawsuits have been filed this morning in LA County against Southern California Edison in connection to the Eaton fire. We have reached out to Edison for comments and are waiting to hear back. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. It has now burned more than 14,000 acres. Containment has been brought up to 33%. At least 7,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed. The death toll is now up to 16. Officials expect that number to grow.
Yes.
Every person that lost their home in these tragic.
Not going to watch that. Yes, Zalipa, all those fire insurance cancellations. Well, the timing of all of this seems a little suspect. I mean, you can chalk it all up to coincidence, but we know that there's really, coincidence is rarely the excuse for things, right? Sometimes it is. But I would say the coincidence is probably the least likely excuse, but it could be. It could be. Homeowners and renters who lost their homes in the Eaton fire are suing Southern California Edison. At least 4 lawsuits were filed on Monday, alleging the company failed to de-energize all of its electrical equipment despite red flag warnings issued by the National Weather Service. Property damage and economic losses caused by the Eaton fire is the result of the ongoing custom and practice of defendant of consciously disregarding the safety of the public and not following statutes, regulations, standards, and rules regarding the safe operation, use, and maintenance of their overhead electric facilities, said a complaint filed by Evangeline Iglesias, who worked in a decades-long career with FedEx to buy a single-family home, which was destroyed in the fire. On Monday, the CEO of the parent company of SCE confirmed to ABC News that investigations are underway to determine if any of the electric equipment contributed to either the Eaton or Hearst fire ignitions. We've seen, we've seen in your reporting the videos, we've seen the photos, so we know that there was fire there. We don't know what caused it. Pedro Pizarro told ABC's David Ono on Monday. Again, there was the obvious signature that we would see normally, but we have not been able to get up close to those lines because firefighters have determined that it hasn't been safe to do that yet. Well, okay. Whatever we find will be transparent with our public. That's what he says. Yeah. So some people, yes, creative experiments, yes. Some people feel like the canceling of the fire insurance is conspiratorial. Well, it is conspiratorial. They don't want to cover people anymore. And this has been happening. This isn't just so we're talking about fire insurance policies in Southern California. They've already pulled, many insurance companies don't cover fire insurance anymore. And we've seen in Northern California, other parts of California, that they have stopped insuring for fires. We've seen in other states they stopped insuring for floods and or hurricanes. Insurance companies know the danger, right? They know that it's kind of a losing gamble these days to insure people because the likelihood that you're going to have to pay out is way higher now. Why is that? Because there's way more of these incidents now. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of an argument. I wouldn't say argument, but there's a disagreement on social media. Some people are super offended by any conspiracy theories about the fires. And some people are, going full tilt with the conspiracies. I would say just keep an open mind. I can see being offended by the conspiracy theories because you're like, I lost all my home, I lost all my stuff, and people are looking for to score political points or score social media points. Around generating these conspiracy theories, right? And I get it. I get that point of view. I guess it depends on the person that's delivering the theory. It can be annoying. It can be annoying for people to, kind of jump on these claims, for political maneuvering. It is annoying. However, I, like so many other people, would like to know what's really happening, right? I would like to know the truth. I would like to know I'd like to be aware of all of the evidence of what is happening. I'd like to know all the angles. I like to study all the angles. I like to be aware of all the angles. I like to take in different, viewpoints and opinions. So it doesn't bother me so much, the conspiracies. It's like chatter. Sometimes it's like chatter that's a little bit annoying, but I like to keep an open mind. That's me. Other people, not so much. But on that note, let's keep going. Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and Gavin Newsom are definitely in the hot seat, and maybe correctly, right? Maybe they should be looked at. Gavin Newsom has been acting very strange, and especially in this video. Hold on, let's get rid of some of these. A few videos of Gavin Newsom just acting kind of weird. Let's hold on one second. I'm gonna get there, I promise. Here's a couple of things about Gavin Newsom, who I am no fan of, as you know. He's talking about the speculators, the specter of speculators, but he's doing a little happy dance about it. And this his body. Somebody said his body language is really weird in this. Let's watch and listen. And he seems a little giddy. He's got that giddy face. Let's see.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks. We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of.
So that's a little weird. He's talking about a serious issue that affects people, but he seems to be awful happy about the idea, or he seems a little happy while he's talking about it. Thank you, contemplative pragmatist. Thank you. Everybody's okay. I'm okay. I appreciate it. You know, okay in a relative way. You know, there's a whole lot that could be way better, but oh no, this is not it. Sorry. But we are all here to fight another day. Let's look at that, at Gavin Newsom being paid off by PG&E. This is a good bit of work here. This is Saint David. Let's watch this.
Remember the $15 billion Biden gave Pacific Gas and Electric a week before the fires? Their smart meters were having problems blowing up. Lithium-ion batteries are causing fires, 6,000 degrees, incinerating homes. But your governor hired these commissioners at the California Public Utility Commission. And these folk said that they didn't cause the problems. The same commission that said we got to save the Longfin smelt and not your home, publishing a 28-page report how we had to save the fish, let all the water drain into the Pacific and not in the reservoirs. Seems kind of fishy to me. Remember the $15 billion Biden gave Pacific Gas and Electric?
All right. So we're going to read a little bit of this. Newsom was literally paid off by PG&E. He hired all their incompetent people, and now Los Angeles is burning to the ground. PG&E donated to stop Gavin Newsom's recall. Gavin Newsom hired former PG&E employees as California Public Utility Commissions, the Los Angeles water chief who failed to make sure LA had water, who's making $750,000 per year, was hired from PG&E. They also paid to get Gavin Newsom elected in 2018. Additional payments have been made to Gavin Newsom and his wife for more than $700,000 from PG&E. PG&E has a long history of huge donations to the California Democrats. And Joe Biden just gave PG&E a huge $15 billion loan. Interesting. Why you would give them a $15 billion loan? I mean, maybe they're having issues. Maybe they have cash flow issues. I don't know. Let's see. Here is some pretty horrific footage. This is never seen anything like this in 30 plus years of firefighting. And yeah, it was the wind was absolutely off the charts. We have a very high wind going on today, and we have some red flag warnings in some of the mountains north of the Eden fire. So people are watching that closely. Not all the fires are out yet. Several fires are going, several smaller fires are going. And there's supposed to be some high winds for the next 2 days. So hopefully no more like catastrophic losses due to fire, but we'll see. Apparently there's a lot more firefighters in the state now. This is from Volcaholic. Just a little sorry for my issues with the throat clearing. Trying to stop here then. All right. Yep. Just absolutely insane footage. And that was from both of the fires. Oh, here's some comic relief from Misha, who works for the Jimmy Dore show. Y'all know Misha, yeah?
Mayor Karen Bass cut $17.6 million out of California's fire department's budget and seemingly focused more on DEI than the state's safety. What do you say to those calling California's leadership a massive failure?
Pass. I say pass. Next question.
So nobody's going to take responsibility?
No. Yes. If you consider the fact that we sent California's surplus firefighting equipment to Ukraine in 2022, one could conclude this is partly Putin's fault. Now, the rest of the blame really gets divvied up between the firefighters we had to let go because they wouldn't take the COVID vaccine and the Republicans for not taking climate change more seriously. And next question.
But you've already been telling us the man-made global warming apocalypse was at our doorstep. Why weren't you prepared?
Let me remind you, this is January. January comes after December and before February. Celebrity birthdays include Diane Keaton, January Jones. Interestingly enough, Carrie Ann Inaba of Dancing with the Stars. We are in the Capricorn zodiac right now, which is both goat and earth sign, and the earth has spoken, and do you know what she said? She said, I want to see more climate change taxes and bills, and we're gonna give it to her. I'm so sorry. I have run out of time. Thank you.
Okay. You think this was allowed to happen in Denver? I mean, I'm not against that. I'm not against the viewpoint. It's also, you know, the winds were just absolutely ferocious. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I made a video before the fire happened about how insane it was. And when you have two days of that in a row, and then fires springing up, it's almost impossible to stop those things. Like once they're going, it does seem like there was a lot of mismanagement of water resources and of monetary resources, right, for the fire department. They were undermanned, outmatched, and they were not ready to handle this. And you wouldn't be wrong in saying that a lot of that was engineered for sure. So, yeah, on many levels, it was allowed to happen. Let's see. Yeah, is it is it profit-driven negligence? Is it, some other motive? I don't know. Again, like I said, some people are vehemently against the conspiracy theory side of this. Some people are all in. I'd say I'm somewhere. I'm all ears is what I am. I'm not one way or the other. um, I would chalk this up to just when you think climate change is going to come and spank the shit out of you, it does. Because it's been doing that to a lot of people. So it's kind of the Occam's razor view of it. But I'm willing to hear other theories. I'm willing to hear. There are a lot of very interesting things going on here. So willing to take those into account as well. Let's see. My God, there's so much too. Here's the LA fire chief was just relieved of her duty, and she had something to say on national TV. And this was a few days ago. This is interesting. LA fire chief is not going down alone. She's taking everyone with her. This is her on CNN, and she was let go after this. Let's see.
I want to be very, very clear. Yes, we took a $17 million budget cut. And as we know, any budget cut would negatively impact our ability to carry out our mission. I want to also clarify that I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. It's my job as the fire chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department to make sure that our firefighters have exactly what they need to do their jobs. And that's why I'm talking to you today. The Palisades fire, everybody's seen it. It is absolutely one of the most horrific natural disasters in the history of Los Angeles. And even with an additional 100 engines, I tell you, we were not going to catch that fire. But with that being said, let me be clear. The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service. And having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact. I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters. With that, I have also requested multiple budgets, interim budgets, to show how understaffed, under-resourced, and underfunded the LAFD is. So with that, also, we have clear data that shows the LAFD needs more help. We need 62 more fire stations. These reports also show that we've had a 55% increase in overall call volume since 2010. And guess what? We're doing it with less firefighters. I was also directed to develop a plan as part of a budget reduction exercise, and that could equate to $48.8 million. And I rang the bell that these additional cuts could be very, very devastating for our ability to provide public safety. That would have resulted to 15 fire stations closing down and potentially the elimination of over 300 firefighters. Again, I want to be clear that I submitted a very large budget that will actually allow our firefighters to do their jobs. And I tell you,
that was it for that clip. But she basically threw the city under the bus, threw Karen Bass under the bus, and they gave her walking papers. Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a confluence of I guess, factors that all coalesced to make this happen. And yeah, it looks kind of fishy. Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't say throw the theories out out whole. No way. Creative experiments in Detroit. The fire department just lets homes burn because it's too expensive to put out. That's our future. Well, yeah. Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Actually, I'm considering reading that book. It's like a bedtime story over the next few nights, but it's actually set in LA, and it's about the future of LA, where civilization is falling apart. The economy is not what it used to be, and people are just kind of hanging on by their fingertips to what they knew or what they know as modern civilization, as things kind of deteriorate. It's an interesting story written 30 years ago. Anyways, few more things to cover, y'all. Yep. Well, so listen. Let's play this one of let's see. Let's play this one of Gavin Newsom and the Smelt.
You're a real surgeon.
So hold on. It is misinformation to say I depleted the water supply to protect salmon, Governor Newsom 1 year ago. All right, so hold on. There's a couple different ways to look at this. And play this.
You're a real surgeon.
I don't know if you can hear it.
What happens if you eat it? That little guy is a 3-spine stickleback. They're really abundant bycatch.
Hang on, what is it?
We're talking about restoration. We're talking about partnership. We're talking about restoring old salmon runs. We're talking about restoring cultures and economies. We're talking about restoring trust in communities and connecting us back to our proud past. And it's all around making sure that we bring back that original habitat. We bring back sort of the natural ecosystems. And again, we partner with the tribes that understand this better than anybody else.
So listen, what he's talking about. So, this is a fight and a misunderstanding between political parties and between people about what is important. Right? So people are blaming the taking down of dams and not keeping water in reservoirs and restoring salmon runs. Listen, sorry to tell you, that's important. Sorry to tell you, if we lose all the salmon, and everything that the salmon brings to the environment, like, you can't negate the environment for civilization. What you get is the environment breaking down to such a degree that civilization is no longer capable of sustaining itself. That's climate change. That's what climate change is. When you destroy the environment with technology that is built to only sustain one species, that's us. When you destroy nature's ability to be in balance and in harmony in order to function in a way that sustains life on Earth, when you destroy it in order to sustain one species, that's not going to work. Guess what happens? Nature is going to come do some slapping. Nature is going to say, I told you all, you don't get to override nature because nature is supreme. Sorry, that's just the truth. I don't give a fuck what you have to say about that. Like, you as a human, like, no, we just need water and humans are the most supreme. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Now, you can intentionally mismanage things in a way that puts people in danger. Sure, you can look at the money. They gave all the money from the fire department to the police. Why? To keep people in order, to crack heads, to put people in jail, to build a more fascist luxury state for the rich and, less for the poor, and put people, but those kind of things kind of backfire, right? As we've just seen. However, there's so civilization is breaking down for multiple reasons on multiple levels, right? If you don't, uh, I, a lot of people think that there is an abundance of wealth and abundance of resources. If they are only managed right, we could do well. I actually believe that. I believe that that's true. When you have a banana republic, when you have an ultra corrupt state in place where mismanagement is rampant and corruption is rampant, and people are just finding ways to lose money, take money from here and put it over here, and do a little 3-card Monty, and oh, we don't know where the 24 billion for the homeless went. You get what you get, right? And so I'm not absolving the ruling class or the managerial class of their complicity in this shit. However, talking about fish and smelt, like the tribal nations have been pushing and a part of environmental awareness around the damage that dams are doing to the environment and to the natural balance and flow of things, and they are correct. They are correct. Okay, so this is a kind of an ideological fight, but it is based in science, and it's based in ancient knowledge of how the environment works. Okay, so yeah, I know what socialism is. I'm a socialist. Ta-da, Andrew, you got me. Yeah, I believe in socialism. Do you know what libertarianism is? it's it's stupidity and greed masked as freedom. Ta-da! Now you know. So there are better ways to run things, but this is not like, obviously the people in charge are failing, the people in charge are corrupt, and if we as a community and a society could step back and take a 10,000-foot view of what we are doing to the planet, and put that as a priority above greed and capitalism, right? Then we could possibly do better things. But we would have to do that as a community and as a society, choose better things, right? Choose better things. So, and those things are things that help people, that are good for people and the planet at the same time, right? Rampant capitalism is not going to save anybody. Unfettered capitalism and free market is not going to save anybody. We already know that. That's been proven time and time again. Why is everything so bad, Andrew? I'm not like, look, man, I'm just having a conversation with you. I'm not angry at you. I'm just saying, why is everything so bad? Why is everything breaking down so badly right now? Is because we've been pummeled with the message for the last 40 years that big government is bad and you can't do anything to change anything, and socialism is bad and communism is bad, and like, just don't have any agency. You can't change anything. Just take your hands off the wheels. Don't try. Just get away from it. And you just let these fools run rampant. You let these fools do whatever they want while you go, I don't know why this is happening. That's called libertarianism, bro. That is the result of libertarianism. That's cool. You can, I don't care. I mean, you don't have to resort to name calling, dude. Like, I'm just like, I'm telling you, well, I'm telling you you're wrong because you are, but like, whatever. Just listen, man. We can have our differences. It's all good. Let's have a debate. I'd rather do that than like, I'm not really trying to argue you down. But if you destroy your environment, everybody dies. I think that's kind of obvious, right? If you destroy the environment, everybody dies. Anyways, And unless you want to live in a land of just gas stations and Dairy Queens, you know, and oil wells, if you think that's a great place to live, but that's what I don't know. I think that's what the fascistic version of the future is for a lot of people. Anyways, is it scialism or socialism? Are you saying scialism or socialism? Sorry if I misread that. Is it scialism or social? Were you trying to say scialism or were you trying to say socialism? My bad for assuming. Hold on. Just clarifying. I mean, whatever, dude. I don't really scialism. That's fine. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you're just trying to tell me that I'm stupid, basically. So that's all good. I got it. I see you now. Hey man, I just told you I misread what you said. But people do that, right? But you know, if you want, if you feel superior, then you know, good for you. Iggy says, "Am I still able to buy a shirt?" Oh, absolutely. You're still able to buy a shirt. Are you asking me if you're able to buy a shirt from the site or just buy a shirt in general? Please clarify. Yes. Okay. What? Let me see. Let me go back to your. It's easy to read "sciolist" as a typo for socialist. Hold on. Would you not agree? I mean, dude, I don't. You know, I mean, you're just trying to say like you don't know what you're talking about, and whatever. It doesn't really. You know, I don't really care. Yes, Iggy, you are able to buy a shirt. Yes. However, oh, you know what, dude? Actually, Iggy, hold on, rewind, hold on, back up and rewind. You are able to buy a shirt, but can I send you a shirt? I can't send you a shirt, so don't buy a shirt. Sorry about that. I just realized I don't have any shirts. Okay, well, you know, good luck to you, Andrew, and all your superior knowledge. You know better. Right, exactly. I mean, you know, hey, Victory Chin, how you doing? I thought you were typoing socialism. My bad. Scialism, whatever. No, don't buy a shirt, Iggy, please. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to read through the chats and keep everything straight. I thought you were like being funny, Iggy. Sorry. And then when I realized you can't buy a shirt because I don't have any to send you, I could probably make you a shirt, but it would take me a while. Well, I was having a conversation, Judy, but it's all good. I mean, look, there are people that have difference of opinions about how things should run. Thank you, Iggy. I appreciate the question. I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to keep everything straight. Read the chat and do a show at the same time and talk to people and argue down, Andrew. People are going to have a difference of opinion, you know, and some people are going to say like, no, I will never, you know, give up my particular viewpoint because I am right and you are wrong, and I know that you're wrong. But you know, whatever. I have the same thoughts. Whatever. I believe that what I believe is true and correct, and so we're gonna disagree. You know, I'm not mad at Andrew for having a different opinion than me. I mean, you know, I don't need the name calling and shit, and I don't need the, you know, it's a little bit the whole like presumption of I know better than you is a little bit silly, but you know, I'm sure I come off that way too when I tell you what I believe as what is true and correct. That I can come off as a pompous asshole. That's how you're going to sound. Thanks. You know what, guys? As far as he's a piscal, I don't know what a piscalist is. Sorry. Well, it's funny because what is a piscalist, or is it anything? It's funny because Denver says, I forget where I heard the quote, everybody thinks they are the hero of their own story. Right. Also, what is it? What's the quote? Well, there's pride goeth before the fall. You know, nothing more dangerous than somebody who absolutely knows that they're right. Something like that. I think I'm messing up the quote. What is the quote about knowing you're right? Absolutely knowing you're right. I don't know. Learning some new words today. I mean, whatever, you know, I'm not familiar with the word stylist, but like just because you know the word stylist and you're going to throw it around like it makes you, I mean, whatever. It's cool. Now I know what the word stylist means. Interesting. I mean, you can use that to denigrate somebody or, you know, correctly describe somebody. I don't know. Denver says unconscious incompetence is the most dangerous force on earth. What is the quote about? No, this is not going to help me. Whatever. Anyways, we'll discontinue this conversation. He wrote Silas, and I said, you typoed socialist. But he was right. I am a socialist. I don't know if I might be a Silas too. But I assumed he was trying to call me a socialist as if that was a bad word. But I'm proud of it. I'm a proud socialist. I'm all good. Call me a communist even, if you want. If you really think that hurts my feelings. I don't give a food. Uh-oh. Did we lose something here? No, we didn't. That's cool. Sorry. Anyways, Andrew, if you're still there, you may disagree with everything about this channel, but feel free to tune in whenever you want. Sorry, Iggy. Iggy was asking me this question like 18 times, and I apologize. I apologize, man. Let's see. Well, you know what, guys? It's been over an hour, and I've got to go do some other things. Thank you. y'all for tuning in. Thanks for joining in. I don't know if I have anybody. I mean, I have a lot of people to thank, and I will eventually go back and do that on a larger level. So thank you, everybody who contributed to the by whatever means that you did, the GoFundMe or whatever. Again, I'm willing to take in, you know, other viewpoints. Like I don't mind. Andrew Brady says, I believe in as little government as possible and as much freedom as possible. All righty. That's good. That's cool. People believe that. It's all right. We have differences of opinion. It's all right. It's okay. I like being free, you know, I like freedom. I do like freedom. For sure. You know, the argument about a little government or big government or less regulation or more regulation, that, you know, I think people should get health care. And you might think that that's a big government thing to want. I want that. I want free education for everybody. That's a big government thing to want. I want that. So I might disagree with the little government thing, but you also want firefighters and cops. That's a big government thing. And you want that, right? And I bet you your parents want Medicare. That's a big government thing. And you want that. Your parents want that, even if they voted for Trump. They want that. Go ask them. Go ask them if they want Medicare. I bet you they do. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to try and be here tomorrow at the regular time of noon. I can't make any promises because everything is everywhere. Right. You know, all of my stuff is everywhere, and all of my, you know, my life is kind of all over the place. So I'm going to try and do like regular shows at noon, but you know, it's kind of until things get a little more even. I can't promise anything, but I will be here tomorrow for what I think I'll be here at noon. Yeah, well, they make the wrong laws, Andrew. They make the wrong laws. There are just laws and there are unjust laws. Wouldn't you think? I mean, they're going to try, you know, they want to take away TikTok because somehow it's Chinese propaganda. I'd say that's a dumb law. That's a dumb thing to want, right? I mean, I have to, you know, Andrew, I'd have to agree with you. Like we have less freedom than ever, and also less economic stability than ever, and also less. You know, we're paying more for less these days, right? Anyways, all right, guys, I really do have to take off, and I really do appreciate all of you joining in. And you know, thanks for tuning into the show, even though I'm a stylist. All right, guys. Rockfinners, let me see. Checking on Rockfin. Jamie Dimon. Yeah. Yeah. Like saving the fish runs is actually a good thing to do. That's actually good for the environment, good for nature. That's a good thing to do. It's just kind of anti-human in a way. And I don't know, that's a bigger discussion, isn't it? Whether you think that humans should be allowed to do whatever they want, or whether they should maybe maybe be a little less self-important and give up some of their shit back to nature, right? Maybe give nature more importance than they give their own small wants and desires, their daily consumption habits. Just something to think about. All right, guys. You're all cool. Let's get out of here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.